Hi, subscribe to my channel Shobha Rana for more.
What is wrong with the Indian diet? There's a lot of these concepts coming in where you're measuring calories, you're measuring your food, and you're eating by taking how many grams of this and that and blah blah blah. So what is not good with the Indian diets? What is wrong with the Indian diets?
So, Shobha, I think I'll just rewind slightly. There is no problem with the Indian balanced diet from wherever you come as a culture. It's actually lifestyles have changed. Recent consumption survey says for 40 rupees out of 100 rupees that we are spending on food, out of that 40 rupees, 10 rupees 80 paisa is going towards processed foods and beverages, and only 3 rupees 80 paisa is going towards vegetables. Our dadimas would have spent 10 rupees on vegetable and maybe only 50 or 60 paisa on these aerated beverages and processed foods and juices. So because of the migration to urban areas, the woman coming to work in the workplace, lesser time for food preparation, the convenience factors have changed in the last 40 years. And as a result, we have shifted from tiffin ka dabba to eating out more often. And also, industry has begun to use lesser of the traditional oils in the food preparation, even in restaurants, and migrated to palm oil. So the Indian diet has not changed. What has changed is the Indian urban story has changed. And as a result of that Indian story changing, we are getting more prosperous. But when we decide to eat food, we are eating from a perspective of I'm very tired. I worked very hard. I'm constantly on the go and moving and all of that stuff. I'm answering WhatsApp messages as lightning thunder. So even till late night, we are constantly on a high stress mode. So when you're in a high stress mode, there is actually a research paper that has shown people when they order food or choose their meal in high stress state will take foods that are higher in sugar and higher in fat. Hence, we are now assuming the Indian diet is unhealthy, but it isn't.
Yeah, that is what we hear from our elderlies, that Indian diet is the best diet. And there are studies that prove it so as well. But like you said, the oils have changed, the way we cook has changed. We also have fried food in our diets, in the traditional diets as well. And when we talk about junk food, the food that we eat outside, I want to have this conversation about oil versus ghee also first up, that what should be the right mode of cooking. Should you be using oil or ghee? What are the benefits? What are the kind of oils that one must use and avoid?
Shobha, I practice as a nutritionist in a clinic, and I have over 80 dietitians in my clinic. And over the last decade and a half, we've gone through thousands of people. This is the first question: which oil is healthy? So I say to people, you know what? If you go back 2000 years ago, we didn't eat oil as a part of a diet. Oil came as part of the nuts or seeds. Or if you ate a fruit or a vegetable or a grain, there was some percentage of oil in it. But as cuisine started getting better and better, we started doing tadkas, we started doing shallow fryings, deep grilling, and all of that stuff. Now you needed oil, and over the years, the population has exploded. And do you know, once I went to a rural area and they did pani ka tadka. So people who are
Wow.
affluent will use ghee and oil for tadka, and people who are poor will use water for tadka. That opened up my eyes, saying that as we become more affluent, we're shifting to fats for frying the food because obviously the mouth feel and the taste is better. But then comes the proverbial question, which is better? When I'm sitting on the sidelines and I'm judge, I behave like a judge. I don't prosecute vegetable oils. I don't defend ghee. I say the human race does not need to fry their food. But Ryan, I still need to fry my food. I ask you this question. What your mother and Dadima have taught you is only for the last 100 years of eating. But if you and I went back 2000 years ago, you didn't squeeze out oils. You had cold press oils and you didn't have copious amounts of it. You may be having 2 3 drops to use because the whole year you had only 2 liters of oil to use. Today we have 2 liters of oil to use in 2 weeks. So my thought process is, if India has to understand, they need to do a genetic test because some of us are thumbs up for accepting a higher fat diet and some of us are thumbs down. So there is a genetic diversity to the accepting of food. Second is the price of ghee is over 1,000 rupees per kg in good ghee, and the cost of palm oil is lesser than 150 to 200 rupees per kg. Shobha, if you and I started a restaurant, as a nutritionist, I would tell you, मैडम जी हम लोग घी यूज़ करेगा. आप बोलेगा भाई हमारा तो तड़का दाल और येलो दाल और मसूर दाल, all of these things if you're preparing with ghee, the dish will cost 600 rupees. With palm oil, it will cost 200 rupees. Let us get more maximum profit. Also, palm oil is neutral in flavor. Because it's cheaper and neutral in flavor, it is going to be the natural selection process for all the restaurants to use. So, and since we're eating outside, people are going towards, Dadima ate once in a quarter with grandpa. Your mom and dad, my mom and dad went out on a date twice a month and ate out. We would go out 5-6 times a month. But our children's generation is going out every day. That is the difference where the exposure to these oils is bad and no restaurant is using ghee. So is ghee good? Ghee is good if you have a thumbs up gene that accepts the saturated fat. My blanket advice to India will be no more than 15 ml of ghee in a day, which is 1 large tablespoon. इससे ज़्यादा लेता है तो हार्ट के लिए, दिल के लिए बहुत खतरनाक होता है.